And now, an excerpt from the new book, How Do Rumors Get Started? The True Story of Timex Social Club. Chapter 11, Soul Food Zombies.
Anyway, this particular day in Birmingham, Alabama, we were hanging out at the stadium after the sound check. I remember the promoter, JP. He said, "Oh, you guys are in for a treat tonight." He said, "I hired the second best restaurant in Birmingham to cook for us tonight." So we looked at each other because, you know, who would brag about hiring the second best? So I remember we were kind of skeptical, right? All I can remember is this. We walked around to the area where the food was being prepared, and the smell of this food, it smelled so good. It smelled like down-home cooking. It was soul food. And if you know anything about soul food, when you do soul food right, everybody comes running. So that's what happened. This lady, she threw down that night. She had collard greens, macaroni and cheese, fried chicken. She had short ribs. She had candied yams, cornbread, string bean. It was a meal. It was a meal to die for. We got in line, we got our plates, and we loaded those plates up, and we sat down and we ate. And that was just the first plate. When I tell you we went back for seconds, when I tell you we went back for thirds, that's what we did. We had 3 helpings of full dinners apiece. I mean, we were all eating, and we could not stop ourselves. We were gorging ourselves. It got really bad. It got really bad at one time because we had to push ourselves away from the table because we were getting too full. We could feel it was actually hurting us to eat, but it was so good. We hadn't had this type of food in so long. So we lost track of time. And before we knew it, it was maybe 7:30. Now, like I said, the show starts at 8. So we were about ready to push ourselves away from the table because we had about 30 minutes. And at this point, we couldn't even walk. And then she said, "Oh, aren't you guys going to have some dessert?" And see, we hadn't even thought about dessert. So we said, "Well, what do you have for dessert?" And she said, "Oh, honey, I have peach cobbler." And man, let me tell you, I mean, everybody erupted, and we were like, "Oh, peach cobbler." And man, it was, let me tell you, that was some bomb peach cobbler. Again, we couldn't hardly walk. We had 30 minutes to go on stage. The crowd was in the building. People were in the building. We had to have some peach cobbler. I'm sorry. We stopped what we were doing. Everybody got another plate, and we all had peach cobbler. Now, you're sitting there putting peach cobbler over 3 helpings of this soul food. This good soul food, right? We were bursting at the seams. We were groaning as we were walking to the dressing room. And when we got into the dressing room, I remember everybody laid down. Nobody could even sit in a chair. We all laid down either on a bench or on the floor. And we were just rubbing our bellies and moaning because it was just hurt so bad, but the food was so good, right? And so now we got about 10 minutes before showtime, really. And so we're just in agony. We're just in pain. Everybody's rolling around. Now we got 5 minutes to go. So Gerald Brooks knocked on the door, came in, saw what condition we were in, and we're pleading with this man. "Daryl, we need another 15 minutes. And Daryl said this, "Can't do it, Timex. 5 minutes to showtime." And went out the door. Now we're like, "Oh, I can't go on. So here we are, and we can barely walk, like I said. And I'm like, how are we gonna pull this off? We have like 4 minutes until showtime. This pain is not gonna go away. How are we gonna do this show?"
To find out what happens next, order your copy of How Do Rumors Get Started? The True Story of Timex Social Club. Point your browser to www.tscbook.com. That's T as in Timex, S as in social, C as in club, book.com.